Hello friends, my name is Ramasu. Today we shall discuss about a topic that what is project stakeholder. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in project management or you are planning to give exam of PMP in near future. So let's start friend. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. Friend, stakeholders are those within an interest in your project outcome. They are typically the members of a project team, project manager, executives, project sponsor, customer, and users. Stakeholders are people who will be affected by your project at any point in its life cycle, and their input can directly impact the outcome. It's essential to practice good stakeholder management and continuously communicate to collaborate on the project with the stakeholders. Stakeholders versus key project stakeholders. Friend, project stakeholders in general can be a single individual or entire organizations who are affected by the execution or outcome of a project. It doesn't matter whether the project affects them negatively or positively. If they are affected, they are a stakeholder. Key project stakeholders, however, are stakeholders who have the influence and authority to dictate whether a project is a success or not. These are the people and groups whose objectives must be satisfied, as they have the power to make or break the project. Even if all deliverables are in the budgets are met. If the stakeholders are not happy, the project cannot be considered a success. Typical key stakeholders in a project. Some of the typical key project stakeholders you will find in the project include customer, the direct user of a product or service, often both internal and external to the company executing the project. Project manager, the project's leader. Project team members, the group executing the project under the project manager's leadership. Project sponsor, the project financier. Steering committee, an advisory group providing guidance on key decisions, which includes the sponsor, executives, and key stakeholders from the organization. Executives, the top management in the company executing the project, those who direct the organization's strategy. Resource managers, other managers who control resources needed for executing the project. There are many more examples of project stakeholders, including seller, supplier, contractor, owner, government agencies, media outlets, and even society at large. Now, internal versus external stakeholders in project management. It's important to understand your project may have key stakeholders both inside and outside of your organization. That's why it's worth noting the key differences between the internal and external stakeholder. Internal stakeholders in project management. Internal stakeholders are those within your organization. They can include top management, project team member, your own manager, your peers or co-workers, a resource manager, and internal customers. External stakeholders in project management. External stakeholders are not part of your organization but might include external customer, government entities, contractors and subcontractors, as well as supplier. Identifying these stakeholders for a project. Friend, identifying internal and external stakeholders in project management will allow you to better execute your project planning by ensuring each and every stakeholder is informed throughout the project and satisfied with the end result. To ensure you include all relevant internal and external stakeholders, you will want to learn how to create a stakeholder management plan with our helpful guide. According to Project Management Institute, project stakeholders are defined as individuals and organizations who are actively involved in the project or whose interest may be positively or negatively affected as a result of project execution or successful project completion. In other words, your project stakeholders are the people or groups who have something to gain or lose from your project outcome. So according to the project stakeholder definition, a stakeholder is anyone with an interest or investment in your project. But what does it actually look like in practice? Your stakeholders are a varied group with varied interest. If you are playing on hard mode, they might even completely conflicting interests that you need to balance. Not only that, but the list of stakeholders can change throughout the project's journey. A certain stakeholder's influence might become more or less important depending on the project phase. For example, your job as a project manager is to keep all stakeholders informed, involved, and on board throughout the project progression. Stakeholder happiness is one of the key metrics of a successful project, so making sure you get the right buy in and tick the right boxes at the right time is very crucial. Ultimately, managing those complex stakeholder relationships is one of the key skills of a project manager, but with so many different interests, perspectives, and personalities to juggle, it's not easy to feed actually. Now that you know the answer to the question of what are project stakeholder, the natural next question is what are the stakeholder in a who are the stakeholder in the project. As we have already seen in the project stakeholder definition that stakeholder is anyone with an interest or investment in your project. But when you actually start to map that out, you might be surprised by how long the list can be. That's because investment in your project can take a number of different forms. It can be the company's money, an executive sponsorship, or a manager's resource. It can also apply to the end user or customer as their needs are critical consideration when it comes to steering your project. A stakeholder is either an individual, group, or organization that's impacted by the outcome of a project or a business venture. Stakeholders have an interest in the success of the project and can be within or outside the organization that's sponsoring the project. Stakeholders are important because they can have a positive or negative influence on the project with their decision. There are also critical or key stakeholders whose support is needed for the project to exist. Friend, a stakeholder is a person like any other member of the project, and some are the easier to manage than others. You will have to learn to use the stakeholder mapping techniques to identify who your key stakeholders are and make sure you meet their requirements. The stakeholder has a vested interest in the project, meaning you will want to keep them updated regularly. Project manager is work and project management software that has real time dashboards that monitor project metrics. Okay, so you can also use these types of tools as well. So friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with the friends and colleagues, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you, friends.